Good morning, lovelies! It is hump day. Hump day happens to be hair day too. Not me have my big ass forehead exposed on here, but y'all my besties, right? Please don't judge me. Ah!
Said the only thing I need, the money that green. Pocket so steep, I could buy my own dreams. I won't design.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my society. First of all, I do want to say thank you for the amount of support that I did get on my last video. If you haven't watched it yet, please go check it out. Enough of that. The real tea, why we're here. It's officially 1 year since I've moved to Florida. Actually, a little over a year. And I realized that I've never really actually just spoke about why I moved to Florida, how I even ended up here, and why even Florida after being in New York for so long. So I just wanted to take some time to just give you guys a little life update, what it has been like for me the past year, what I expected, what I didn't expect, what I like, what I don't like, the whole shebang. The day I moved here, I vlogged like packing up, being at the airport. I moved to live with my brother, and when he picked me up from the airport, I'm vlogging everything, getting the close-up shots. We went to a Jamaican spot. I was in a great mood. Guys, I'm done about to hit the button to stop recording. I never start record. I felt so embarrassed. Even though I know no one saw me. Well, I hope no one saw me. But just the vibes was just gone. It just broke my vibe. I went home in silence. I recorded nothing for the rest of the day. Anyway, guys, let me just put a cap in my yap and get into the details that y'all actually care about. Yeah. So, how did I end up moving here? Do y'all want the truth? The truth? Or the raw truth? Because I could give you all three. But how much time we got? My brother, actually, he was living by himself. And one day we were chatting. He was just saying how much he misses me. And I was like, well, you don't have to miss me for too long. I can come live with you. And he was like, yeah, you can. And I was just like, are you dead ass? I literally told him, do not tease me because I'm literally about to pack my shit right now. He said that he was not capping. And y'all, he was not capping. I was not capping. A couple months later, I booked a one-way flight, packed all my shit, and moved to Florida with no job, no plans, no money, no license, no nothing. The real is that I came to Florida in 2020 to see my brother, and I had such a blast. My brother's apartment at that time, he lived in a condo, and the rent was $1,400. A 2-2 beautiful luxury condo, and that sold me. Plus it's warm. I hated the cold even though I went to college in Buffalo. I just fell in love. And then like a year later, I came back to Florida. This time I went to Miami for spring break with my friends, and guys, we had such a blast. That experience convinced me that Florida is where I need to be. Okay, literally, I never shut up about it after that. All of my circle knew 100% that I had definite plans to move to Florida one way or the other. I've always wanted to be a doctor, and that had always been my plan, to go to med school. In college I worked a lot. I couldn't just jump from bachelor's to medical school because unfortunately my GPA did suffer from the limited amount of time that I had. I didn't have like a terrible GPA, but we know med school is very competitive, so my GPA just wasn't up to par, and I needed to have extra padding or supplemental stuff on my resume, which I didn't have. The plan was to try to get those opportunities after I gained my degree a whole semester early, but life happened and I just couldn't get a job with my degree. They wanted me to provide an arm, a leg, and more. And that is really frustrating, especially if you live somewhere like New York City. You know it's very expensive, so you need to have a job, which I did end up getting a job in the medical field. I did love the job that I got, and I was promoted to manager literally couple months into my role, so I was getting paid higher than minimum wage. It just wasn't enough. I did live with my mom, and listen, we're Jamaican. I feel like I don't need to say too much. Living with my mom was just not, it was just not the best for my mental, and I need money. Like, I moved in 2024. No, I moved in 2025. Literally January 5th, 2025. And 2024, guys, that Aaliyah was given everything. I was getting my diet together. I was taking a course to, further my footing in the medical field. I was freshly out of a almost 10-year relationship. I was just going through a whole lot of changes, and I felt like I was a baddie. And to maintain being a baddie, I need more money. Now, if we backtrack a little earlier where I was mentioning that it was just so hard for me to get all these jobs or supplements that I needed on my resume, so much confusion, so much frustration. After doing research, a lot of those requirements were very specific to New York State, and Florida just happened to be one of those states where I don't necessarily need to have a certification, or there were better loopholes for me to get to those requirements. So this is where it was starting to make even more sense, So considering that those were just specific to New York State, and Florida had always been in the talks for me, even in Buffalo where I went to college and would have settled down, you could get a very nice accommodation, but it was not going to be giving luxury. It was not going to be giving city life, any of that. Yes, I wanted to move to Miami. I don't live in Miami, but I'm not too far. And I know there's people from Jamaica who actually do like the cold. So I'm gonna just say, me personally, I'm not a fan of the cold. I'm not a fan of the burbs. I want to be either in the city or close to the city. After visiting my brother in 2020 and then coming back and actually going to Miami, I was just sold. I was definitely sold. I know that Miami is where the money resides. And like I said, I needed to be where the money resides and all the loopholes. So what better place than to come to Florida? Also, if you watch my first video, you would see where like content creating had always been something that I've been at a little tug of war with. So I've been wanting to take it serious for a very long time, but I don't know, something just always held me back. In 2024, when I was on that little run, I felt like it was just the perfect place for me to also be to pursue this goal. Somehow, even after I moved, I still haven't taken it seriously. I'm trying now though. I sort of had this vision where I would just come to Florida and I would actually take content creating seriously, and I would move to Miami. Life doesn't look like that now, but I'm telling you, life is definitely close. And with that being said, now I just want to venture into the topic of what I expected it to be like versus what my first year actually was like. Like I mentioned before, I thought that I was gonna come here and I was gonna be on my Zoom doing my content, posting consistently. I did vlog. Me and content, we just have this love-hate relationship, unfortunately. Right now it is in the love stage. I am not working, so that definitely makes things easier for me. So that's different. I also did not know that I was gonna end up here jobless, trying to pursue content. But again, God has been guiding me on this journey. I'm just grateful to be living this experience in my 20s. I just entered my mid-20s. It's exciting, but also that sounded like I was about to say so nerve-wracking. This is what happens after a long day of speaking in American English and your body's just fighting the urge to go back to patois. I definitely loved my job as a medical assistant. I worked in Boca Raton at a very, very prestigious office, and it was a lot of networking opportunities. My patients were the best. Things were going great until we had a change of management. This white lady came and she was messing with my money, so I had to go. I don't play about my money in this economy. No, sister girl, not my money, not my funds. Thank you, but no thank you. I'm putting in my resignation. Good luck with everything and God bless you. The other thing that took me by surprise was the weather. I definitely love Florida for the warmth. That is one of the very, very, very top reasons why I chose to come here. When I came to Florida though, what I did not expect with the weather, I thought that it was just gonna be sunny all the time, and if it did get cold, it would maybe go down to 60s. Child, it's been down to 30s. I did not bring any type of winter clothes. I did pack for the fall, but I didn't pack for the winter. So that's something that definitely caught me by surprise, and I was very upset because, again, I don't like the cold. Also, everybody has the AC going 24/7. Even though it doesn't stay hot here 24/7, the AC is always running. In New York, turn on the AC at your own risk. At least how I grew up. My mother, she makes sure to tell me it had to be scorching hot for us to be able to turn that AC on. You better not touch that shit if you just got a smidge of sweat. No. Going to the bathroom, go be it under the cool water and then come back. Open the door, open all the windows. That's what you had to do. But here, that's not a problem. Turn that AC on and have it on. And I don't like that. It also doesn't rain here for too long. And I genuinely do love that. I do love the rain, but don't love it when I do have to go outside. I love the rain when I can stay inside and snuggle up in bed and read a book and drink some hot cocoa or some tea or something. I'm definitely more of a tea girl. The sun is going down, guys, and I do have to run. Somebody broke the elevator, so we're taking the stairs. As I was saying, another thing is that the weather changes here very quickly. Honestly, it could be raining on one side of the apartment complex and not raining on the other side. That was definitely a like, what the fuck type of moment for me. You could literally hear the elevator. But I love that because the lighting is kind of ass, guys. I'm so sorry. But yeah, you can still get to enjoy your day. You still do have to plan accordingly because that will switch up on you like 2 months ago. We went to Miami. Unfortunately, we had ATVs planned. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately because we still had a blast. It did start to rain unexpectedly. It didn't rain for that long. Did it start raining when we were leaving? When we were leaving, it was raining, right? Yeah, it was drizzling a little bit when we were on our way, and it was like an hour drive to the actual ATV spot. When we were leaving Miami, that's when it started to pour. So hours had passed. It was a very rainy day, but we were still able to have fun and do what we needed to do. Very different from New York, because if it was raining, it was raining. New York weather is bipolar, but more like every other day type of bipolar. Florida is more like hour to hour bipolar. You can't keep track. Love it though. Love it, love it, love it. Another thing that I do love, since I've been here, I have been back home twice. The hour flight is chef's kiss. I always sleep through my flights, so technically it doesn't really bother me too much how long a flight is, but it's definitely a bonus being able to just go back and forth that quickly and not have to waste half of my vacation time on the plane at the airport, you know. Another thing that I love, I feel like getting your license here in Florida, it's not even about feeling like, it is a fact. Getting your license is so easy. That road test, they didn't even take you on the road. They literally had me do it in a parking lot. That shit blew my mind, and I love that. I love that for me. I learned how to drive when I was in New York, and I did take my test, but I failed because of the parallel parking. Your girl could not stop hitting the curb. I just kept hitting it, and the guy was like, don't feel bad. There's people who don't pass their test until their 12th try. 12? If I fail after the 5th time, I'm not going back. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I would ever make it back after the 3rd time. I would just take it as a sign from God that I need to be chauffeured. And even with my license now, I still don't drive. Moving to Florida changed the trajectory of me getting my license. Okay, we're back, guys. We went to go get dinner. That's another one of the things that I like here. Very, very good Jamaican eatery. This food is so good. It really is so good. I'm just baggy. You know baggy people? Ready-eye people? Y'all, hair came out so tea. I love me a good side part bust down. Y'all, I do need to define the part. So another thing that I really like since I've gotten here is that I now have more of a social life. That's something that I never actually gotten to do when I was in New York. Even in college, I never socialized much. Like, towards the end of senior year, I did start to connect with people more, and a comment that surprised me was that people thought that I was Hollywood. I was told, my dad's calling me, hold on. we're back again. Firstly, let me just say, me, Hollywood, never been that. And that's honestly a comment that I get so often throughout my life because I'm usually quiet and people think that it's because I'm either mad or I'm judging them. But honestly, guys, I just have an RBF. I have a really bad RBF. I will never forget this story. I was in high school. If you grew up in the city, then you know how the buses are. I was sitting at the front of the bus and this old lady was coming onto the bus. All she had to do was walk past me and go catch a seat. Miss Ma'am stops, looks at me, puts a hand on my shoulder, guys, and says, "It's okay to be sad sometimes. We're women. We understand." Guys, I was happy. I was definitely okay. I don't know what she was talking about. I don't know what possessed her to stop and tell me of all people that. The only explanation is that she was looking at my face. Ever since that day, I've been very hyper aware of my RBF. I'm sorry, Aaliyah is just a little bit quiet because she's super duper shy. Well, I was super duper shy. Now I'm just like slightly shy. I'm getting there. I've definitely done a lot of work, a lot of soul searching, a lot of confidence building. Being an RA, I had no business being shy, which is why I got into being an RA anyway. Yeah, a lot of people were telling me that I was Hollywood and I'm just like, no, you guys have it completely wrong. Coming here, I have been, networking with people more often because I did the hard work, right? The years preceding the move, I did the hard work and broke away some shells. Now, being here, I've made a few bonds, to be honest. I've really only made like one solid friend since I've gotten here. She's really my girl. Weekly side quests, and the moment we met, we just clicked. I love it. And I really just can't wait to keep exploring and knowing more people. I love how I get to just get up and go. In New York, you don't really need to have a car, but if you're a girl like me, yes, hot girls do take the subway. It's just not for me. I'm sick and tired of getting harassed on the subway. Plus, I moved to Long Island. To take the train and go to the city to do stuff was just a no-go for me. And then my friends that I did have in New York, which was just like two, our schedules, our lives were just too different, so making plans with each other was just always super hard. And even if I did have my license, I wouldn't have had a car to move around. My mom would have not lent me her car. And being in New York, all of my money definitely had to go towards bills, so going out wasn't very realistic for me. Here, cost of living is a little bit high. It's getting high, but it's still possible. And I'm lucky enough to be a kept woman. So something else that really threw me off was definitely the traffic situation here. And that's also one of the reasons why I just couldn't keep my job, because I live closer to Miami and I was working in Boca. Now, technically on weekends or during the right time of the day, it's about 30-35 minutes to get to my job. During rush hour, child, that turns into an hour and a half. There are times when I do have to catch an Uber, and that Uber, that Uber is ridiculous. It makes me consider running Uber. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't see myself being a chauffeur for anybody. I am to be chauffeured. Okay? Thank you. Well, that's all that I have for you. I do love it here. I feel like it's basically a second Jamaica, even though New York is too. But with the warm weather, I feel like Florida wins. And with the food. That is my experience. I am just a girl, a Barbie girl in her Barbie world, or more like a Bratz doll. I love the life that I'm building for myself. I'm just excited to see what the future holds. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go get a new tattoo. Stay tuned for that vlog. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time.